Well, Stephen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Perhaps you can start by just giving us a little bit of background of why you started your company.
Hi there. I launched the company Hawkins and Brimble Limited mainly because I always wanted to create my own brand, and I thought that there was a lack of men's products made with natural ingredients on the market, and also I always suffered with quite sensitive skin. Um, I remember my mum having to carefully choose washing powders when I was little, because I'd always sort of itch and scratch. So I thought that it'd be great to have a range of products, not just for everybody else, but for myself too, that I like using. I think bar one at the moment, I use all the products in my bathroom, which are my own, partly because of my sensitive skin.
And what was the genesis of the name, the brand name that you chose?
We wanted something very British sounding, mainly because of our intent on exporting the product. So we did quite a bit of research around the 1920s and 30s for British gentlemen who were rather dapper, had wonderful moustaches, and came across two different characters, Mr. Hawkins and a Mr. Brimble, who inspired the name.
So they're both real, are they?
The real people, yes, yes. We haven't gone a lot further with the names. We've had various ideas about trying to bring those characters to life, but to be honest, we wanted to keep the brand with the sort of heritage feeling, but for the modern man. So we didn't want to go too far with the old-fashioned style, really.
Now, most people when they start up an SME, a small enterprise, don't really have a horizon which is an export horizon to begin with. Just talk to us a little bit about why, when you started the company, you thought export first.
I'd already had some experience in the export business with the previous family business I used to work in. I was the export director there. We used to sell lots of other people's brands, including some of the big names, to export markets. So I already had some experience on what can work abroad. And for obvious reasons, the amount of sales we can do in overseas markets is a hell of a lot more than we can do in the UK alone. So it made a lot of sense to me, and it felt like a very comfortable decision. In some ways, I think it's easier to export than it is to sell to the UK, mainly because the dominance of the big 4 or 5 supermarkets here, who drive a very, very hard bargain.
Now, there's no such large an export market than China. You're what, about 4 or 5 people within your organisation currently. China is 1.3 billion people. What was it that attracted you to China, I suppose, apart from the opportunity in the numbers? And what was your journey to look at the market and decide, actually, yes, that was a big opportunity that you wanted to go for?
As you say, apart from the sheer number of people in China, we looked at the fastest growing countries for men's grooming products. China obviously was one of those. India was another, but China seemed like a great place to start, because not so many of my competitors had already entered that market. A lot of companies worry about export all the time. I'm never quite sure why, because I think it's relatively easy. And I felt that if we could be one of the first to market, we could do especially well. And as I'd already had experience, that brands that launch early in a market have a lot less trouble trying to maintain that number 1 or 2 spot.
Now, in terms of distribution and channels, what was your distribution and channel strategy?
Well, again, China is a great choice, in my opinion, for export because China is such an online e-commerce driven country. I was flabbergasted by the amount of products that are sold just on the Tmall store alone. And how far ahead in some ways China is compared with the other Western countries. They have one system that they could shop on, do their social media, their payments gateways, all very, very streamlined. And we couldn't sell in China and offline on the streets, in the stores, pharmacies, etc., because of the animal testing issues in China. So online was an obvious choice, and also simplifies the strategy and the marketing.
Now, to what extent has Alibaba and the Alibaba ecosystem enabled you to fast track your activity in China?
Well, we were very lucky to meet the people from Alibaba London about 1.5 years ago, and it's been really a lifesaver for the business, I have to be honest, for two reasons. One was that they very kindly introduced us to a very experienced e-com business in Changsha called Huazhuwei, and not only have they become our distributor and propelled us into an incredible amount of growth through the China market. I think we're projecting over £2 million sales in the next 12 months in China alone, if not more. And we only started in April, so it's quite incredible. But also that partner, we were at the time looking for investment because, as a lot of startups would appreciate, and even someone with my experience, cash is always the biggest challenge for any business, especially one that grows very, very rapidly. So they also have invested in the business as well, which is incredible. So we've got a win-win situation.
So that meeting and association was an amazing opportunity for all of you. Tell us a little bit about the 11/11 Global Shopping Festival and your involvement in that. And again, I suppose, what's it like for a small entrepreneurial brand to have a presence in such a massive, large global event?
Quite incredible, really. I had someone the other day talk to me as a mother from the school my child is at, who's from China, and she said, "Do you realise your brand is now famous in the China market?" And I was quite shocked. I think if you've got a good partner there, and in my opinion, that's crucial, especially for a startup, because obviously language barriers, cultural understanding, logistics, infrastructure, just really knowing that market and those consumers is key. So if you've got a good partner, then it makes life a lot easier. We want to control the brand image and the marketing style. So our partner in China comes to us for everything British we can, and they then put that into a more localized style, which we then sign off on. They've done a lot of work with launch events for 11/11 in barbershops, which has been incredible in Shanghai, Beijing, and other major cities.
So in a sense, that's both mixing both the physical aspects of distribution and having a relationship with the consumer, but also the digital aspects as well.
Yeah, the digital is live streaming is one of their fortes, and as you probably know from the China market, live streaming is absolutely key. So they will use cool influencers in China, musicians, etc., and have them actually live streaming using the product, telling people about the products.
And have you found that actually the product and the range lends itself to the whole concept of live streaming?
Yes, pretty good. I mean, our best-selling products in China at the moment are men's styling products, hair styling, which unfortunately I don't have a great deal of, so I can't.
I know the problem.
but Chinese young and middle-aged Chinese men love using hair styling products, and we've got an absolutely perfect range for that. We have developed and we are developing products specific to the China market now, but we did already start that quite early with a moisturizer, which is an oil control moisturizer, which suits the Chinese skin.
I mean, I think that's really interesting, because a lot of success in China is in the future going to be derived from creating specifically for the Chinese consumers, as opposed to just exporting products that sell well in your domestic market.
Absolutely. I mean, we have about 20 products in our current range, which is a lot for quite a young company, really. But I'm glad I did that. I kind of viewed it as a one-stop shop. If I need a bar of soap in my bathroom, then I'm sure other people will. And if they love the fragrance, our fragrance is incredibly popular, and obviously the naturalness of the products. And it was good that we did such a big range, because whilst our beard care products are doing incredibly well in countries that are in lockdown because men are shaving less, in countries like China, there not so many people shave a great deal. So that part of the world, skincare and hair care, is definitely a stronger area for our products. So we've got an interesting mix of sales in lots of different countries, some more unexpected than others.
How, from a business perspective, do you prepare for a global shopping festival that clearly, if you do it right, generates a lot of volume?
I think that obviously you have to make sure you've got enough stock. We would have struggled without our partners' investment as well. That's a significant amount of money, which enabled us to start building our stocks up. Also, our partner has had significant stock in China. A fun fact, we shipped in sort of the month before 11/11, because sales were really starting to take off significantly. They had to air freight 2 full jumbo jets of our products out to China, which is quite an incredible statistic, which again, for me, I'm still pinching myself a little bit, because it just doesn't sound real sometimes how much we managed to achieve with my first attempt at doing my own products. So amazing.
What advice would you give to companies, maybe startup companies like yourselves, or reasonably sized SMEs who are eyeing up the China market and slightly nervous about whether they should engage or not?
If you can, start talking with Alibaba in London. Certainly they can give you some great pointers of how to proceed, and find a good partner in China. It's not the only way, but I struggled, to be honest, to do it myself there. We have our own operation in the US, but it would have been much harder in China for lots of different reasons. But yeah, just reach out to people that know.
And finally, Stephen, coming back to 11/11, how would you sum up your experience for the first time this year?
Incredible, mind-blowing, really. Haven't seen any growth, especially within such a short time period in any other country that we're selling to, and we're already selling in 23 countries. So blown away with the scale of the market, and also the consumers are so engaged. We were told that majority of consumers leave a review about your products, which is not the case over here. And that's really, really helpful. If you've got a great product, that's really helpful, and we do. So we're getting 5-star reviews all the time. Great for building a brand and word of mouth.
Well, that's can't say any fairer than that, and it's a great place to stop. Stephen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's been fascinating.
Pleasure. Thank you.